Hello everyone and welcome back. In this part we are gonna take the scene we've worked on so far, the man with the hamburger, and the goal of today's video is to add the materials. Okay? So first of all, what I'm gonna do is remove the dog and the elements that are blown away, just because this is an animation part. And because we haven't seen that yet, it's not very well done. So I prefer to remove that, to remove the attention from those elements that are not totally finished. Okay? Not that everything is finished, but I want to remove the distraction. Okay. So remember, we're gonna use cycles in the end for the final project. But for the materials, not to be influenced by the lighting, we're gonna use the material preview mode. Okay. So first, I want to start with the couch. So remember, almost every object used the same material so far. So I'm gonna create a new one and call it couch and assign it to every element of this object. What I thought about later, which is a good practice, is not to name the material couch, but really what the material is, because if you want to use it on something else, well, the other object will have a material which is named couch, even if the other object is something like a carpet. Okay? So next, I'm gonna add a metal material, and I think I'm gonna switch to material preview here as well, just to make sure I can see what the influence of my settings is. Okay, now it's time to move to this, the magazines, and although they would look better with some kind of different color for each of them, I really want it to only use simple materials for this scene, just so that, again, I want to let you know that if you're a beginner, you can still follow along and do something that is looking good. Okay? So now it's time for us to move to this kind of TV shelf, okay, made out of wood and metal. And now it's time also for the TV. So it's also made out of wood, but I chose to do another kind of wood, like a different color, so that it's not exactly the same. And of course, all the other parts will be something like metal. And because the front view was just one single flat element, I had to cut through it to make sure I can assign a metallic material in the parts around the screen as well. Okay, now I'm doing almost the same for the bookshelf. Okay, same simple colors and simple materials. Moving on to the windows, this seat will be exactly the same as the couch, and just for simplicity's sake, I'm kinda reusing the same kind of set of materials. First of all, because it is easier, but then, most importantly, because it will add some kind of cohesion to the scene. Okay, having the same kind of wood, the same kind of colors will help to make the scene more readable. Okay, instead of having like a lot of different colors everywhere, your eyes won't know where to look at. Okay, so if you can see, I'm just continuing with the objects in the foreground, but if you really look at the scene, you will notice something. It is made out of mostly two main colors, which are complementary colors, and these are the orange parts, like orange red, and something going towards the blues. Okay, so I've modified the walls as well, the ceiling, the floor. Now it's time to move to the hamburger. I need to make it a bit, let's say, reflective, like having some kind of low roughness to make sure the light reflects quite a lot on it to make it, like juicy and greasy, like a real hamburger that will make you want to eat it, okay? And then I also adjusted the seeds on top of the bun. So now you can kinda see that the scene is almost complete, and we only need to assign materials to the character. Remember, the character will work on it also a bit later when we will be at the sculpting stage, okay? But of course I'm giving it some kind of blue jeans, a shirt, and that's almost it. But as you can see, he's got a kind of orange shirt and it doesn't really pop out from the other objects, the couch that are supposed to be in the background. So I'm gonna give it some kind of bright kind of blue shirt so that it is on the opposite side of the main orange red colors, and it has like a kind of saturated blue color to make it pop compared to the other objects that are blue, but it's a less saturated blue. So now if we switch to the render mode, we can see that the reds almost disappear in a kind of reddish kind of blocks, okay? We can see that what is popping out is the blue shirt of the man, and of course the hamburger, just because it is lit, okay? So now, as usual, I'm doing a scene, okay, deleting everything that we don't need anymore, and I've imported the same character we had at the beginning and posing it as if he was seated, okay, so that I can use this as a reference for scale, because I'm gonna build around the character. So fast forward, okay, I think you can imagine what I'm kind of building. Looks like a plane or an aircraft, okay, again using only simple objects, cubes, cylinders mostly, and some modifications in edit mode. And I also have a mirror modifier in the middle so that I can only work on one side of my object, the other side being mirrored. Okay, now I'm doing the environment for that, just a kind of lounge ramp. Okay, now I'm just adding some kind of circular doors, like maybe big huge doors. And because I don't just want this to be like on the side, facing the side of the camera, what I'm doing now is creating an empty object and parenting everything to this empty. And now I just have to rotate the empty until the view is what I wanted to get. Okay, just like that. Then later, if you want to modify something, you've got two options. You can either use the empty as a reference to move objects when the set is oriented this way, or you can also copy the empty, duplicate it, and then use the copy as a reference, meaning that you can reset the rotation of the first empty so that the set is straight on the side, and then later on, if you wanted to go back to the wanted position, you can just copy again the rotation based on the copy of the empty. Okay, and so of course now you can see the final results of this new scene that I did in something like about 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the lesson. It wasn't complicated, and again, that was the goal of it. Remember, you can start with simple materials, just like that, using only the Principled BSDF parameters, okay? And later on, or if you're already kind of experienced, you can also use more complex materials to the same scene, okay? So, I'll see you next time Have a good week everyone. Have a good life as usual. Bye.